Notification volume 0%.
Good afternoon. I am Blind Prime, and already? You're gonna start already. No, get out of that box. Stop eating the box. Sorry. This is Blind Prime, and I'm with Blindformers. And here in front of you, you have Cup, Studio Series 86 from the 1986 movie. That movie that caused many children to see the death of their hero, which I have to say affected me too, but I wasn't that young and I saw it on VHS tape when I was in the 90s. So, Cup was always one of my favorites from that show. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed the fact that he was like this old grizzled sergeant, and every single time I start these videos, you're gonna be like this, Sugar? No. No. Lay down. Or leave. My apologies. So, I enjoyed this guy quite a lot, and Cup is the sergeant of the Transformers universe. He just is the sergeant. As Discworld puts it, some people in the universe are born sergeants. They're bred sergeants, they grow up sergeants, they are sergeants. Just, this guy has a lot more intelligence than, Sergeant Colin. So, let's get to his measurements. We've got here for you, he stands 19 studs tall. I think that's pretty cool. He's not a very tall guy, but then again, he is a deluxe, and he's supposed to be a bit on the short side, at least in the sense of compare him with somebody like Optimus Prime. But we do have Bumblebee here to. What is this you have, Bumblebee? Did you steal Cup's Energon goodies? You just eating away at him. Okay, all right. Just big old pig Bumblebee here comes up to just below Cup's shoulder, actually right where his arm can pop off. Now, that's pretty cool. Did you even ask? Did you say Baha Grana Weep Nidibam? No? Cup's gonna have some words about that. No. Yeah, now Cup's not happy with you. So Cup comes with some cool features, other than the Energon goodies that you just saw Bumblebee holding, which are really cool. It was fun to see those actually included, and it's nice to have a new type of little addition. Now, Cup's cool because his arms can pop off, like in the movie. I mean, one of the arms comes off, but both of these can apparently come off, so that's pretty cool. So, let's get to his transformation. Alright, so first off, we're going to remove his gun. Oh, before I begin all that, let's take a look at this. He's only got 4 siege ports, 1 on each of his hands, and then 1 on the bottom of each of his feet. And that's it for siege ports with this guy. Just kind of sad, but you get what you get, huh? So, now, let's transform him. First off, you want to unpeg his backpack from his back, and once you do, you'll feel that both of his front wheels are kind of folded in there really nicely. That's a really cool feature. His texture goes for this guy. He's pretty decent. You can definitely feel the 80s look with all these cylinders and rounded things. It's straight up 80s. This is so 80s it hurts. So, let's pull off the backpack on his back. Now, after you've done that, put your thumb on both of those wheels in the back and grab the first arm, one of the arms, it doesn't matter which one you start off with, and pull it away from the core of him. And it will fold on a hinge that's close to his head, upwards. And once you do that, you want to move him around to the other side and unclick his other arm. So now his hands can raise in the air like you just don't care, and you can move him around. Looks like he's dancing. Oh yeah. Man, we don't want to see Cup dancing like that though. So after you've done that, we want to take these arms. Now this is a bit that I had to discover that was a little difficult for me to find out about, but I noticed that there was a pin, like a metal one, up here on the shoulder assembly. So we got to figure out which way to push it, because it doesn't like to go. And this is one of those reasons why I started this show, because there's pieces like this that will confuse you, and you always forget which side the piece goes on. Here we go. There it is. All right, so put cup with his window. You want his window facing away from the way that you push. So push his arm near, don't use the arm itself, near the shoulders, close to that where the deltoid muscle on a human would be as possible. And push on that, and you got to give it a little force. You got to push it backwards. But eventually, and hold the shoulder assembly, the floppy thing that you unfolded in your fingers so you don't rip it off its hinge. And as this is a tight clip, guys, but don't worry, you're not going to break it. And once you've done that, a chunk of his shoulder bit, or his side assembly, will actually rotate around, I'd say 215, 210 degrees. It rotates almost all the way, but there's still a good third to a quarter that it doesn't go. And once it's done, and your arm you'll feel on the edge that there's now kind of another edge. So when you drag your finger up the side, you'll feel that it goes down and there's a little bit more off hanging. And you want to do it with the same on this. Where there's once a flush edge, you want to make it where it's kind of it has a couple of edges to it. So like I said before, grab his floppy shoulder thing that you unpegged in your hands, and then you want to use your thumbs to find the creases for this panel. You can find them pretty easy with fingernails. Once you have them, make sure you don't put your finger in front of where you're trying to unfold it from. And once you've done that, just rotate it all the way around. And this part surprised me. That's why I'm really focusing on it, because it was something that I didn't expect, and I only figured out because I noticed that there was a little bitty metal pin that could allow for rotation, and I couldn't figure out what in the world that pin was for, so I worked at it until I discovered. And there it is. Now, make sure this arm is rotated as far as it can go. And this one is... Good. This one's as rotated as far as it will go too. Nice. We are golden on the arms. Let me double check this one. Oh! I did that thing. I told you guys that you don't do. Great. I popped off his shoulder. So, we're going to pop his shoulder back into place. It's that easy. And now that everything is done up with his arms, let's get him out of the way. Fold him all the way upwards. You notice that his hands will have a bit more reach now that you've given them those few extra millimeters or centimeters. Now his backpack, you want to unfold it slightly. Let's go to his back. All right, so unfold his backpack slightly. Then go to where those two wheels were that I told you about earlier in the video. And you want to rotate them both out of the inside of the vehicle area, because they will now fit where the arms used to be, because all that work we've done with the arms has allowed some more space to be discovered. Now, the head is on a hinge, and you may think to yourself, oh, I'll just fold the hinge in the head in all the way. That's a nice big negative spot. Wrong. Don't do that. That is the wrong way to go about this, guy. Trust me, I've learned. You want to take his entire thing, his chest area, and that actually folds on a hinge. So fold it backwards just a wee bit. Now that's folded backwards just a wee bit. Pop the hinge on his head just a little, so his head does fold inwards, but it's more... crud. I did it again. Popped his head off its little hinge. This guy is a little difficult with the popping off of the hinges, but Hasbro is nice, and they don't ever put a poppy hinge in a place that you can't just pop it back. There it is. You keep losing your head over this video. Or you're losing your parts over this video, and not the parts that you're designed to lose. Alright. Now that's done, the head is just a little loose. We're not trying to fold it too much. I made the mistake of folding it too much. And part of this video is you watch my mistakes so you don't make them. And keep folding the front until you get it just right. This will take a few moments because that is a double hinge for the front. So you've got to remember to hinge the waist and hinge his chest. Both of those need to be hinged at nearly 45 degrees each. It can be a little bit troublesome to get it right, and you're only going to really get it 100% right by failing at it a few times. Remember we're going to move on the legs, but before we do, remember to reach into his backpack and ensure that the back flap bit is unfolded completely. That will be getting in the way if you don't do that now. Now that we've done that, let's take these hands and do nothing with them for the moment. We're going to move over to his legs. Now his legs are weird. His legs are very weird, but I'm going to do my best to explain them. We're going to take care of the easy stuff first. Fold his toes inwards. Click, click, done. Now, take his knee pads and pull, and his entire little thing that has the wheel on it will come out, and you'll see a bigger wheel underneath. Now, you can play with them for a minute if you want. Now, that's done, we're going to then if you feel near where the column, like the circular part of the thigh, fits into the knee area for the bottom of the leg, you can feel that there's actually a hinge on the side, and this will allow you to hinge the lower leg at a different angle than the knee would allow. Where knee would allow for forward and backwards motion, this hinge allows for sideways motion. And you want to get it a little bit, not much, about 45 degrees. And then you want to fold that knee back in place. It won't snap just yet because we're not done, but it will snap when we are done. Do the same with the other leg. Fold it out just a bit. Make sure that everything kind of lines up a little bit. And then fold it back after you folded it out just a tad. Now that is complete. We want to then, after having made some space here by folding these hinges correctly, you'll notice that there is now a gap between his legs because we made him bow-legged. Yep, we made him bow-legged. All that work just to bow his legs up. Now, rotate those panels on the arms as you proceed to fold the arm assembly underneath the panel that we unfolded from his backpack. We are moving into finishing up the arms now. So, that rotatey bit that I took so much time mentioning, it needs to rotate a little bit more now, but it really rotates at this point to fit the dimensions of the place we are putting in. So, you want to use a little hand study here, and while pushing the entire arm underneath the back panel that you unfolded from his backpack, this is the smaller back panel, not the bigger back panel that is folded over his head. It naturally just kind of folds over his head. So, back to the arm. Ensure that while you are pushing the arm assembly in, you are also rotating that shoulder area slightly to get the best possible connection and ensure the best possible reach. Because what we're going in to do now is we are about done. Now that we've done that, unfold from the back of each leg this little panel, and if you feel on the panel at the bottom of it, there is a rectangular style siege peg, and that actually is the right size to fit into his hand. So his hand's going to reach down underneath this panel you unfolded from the bed of the truck, because that panel does kind of make the bed of the truck, and pull the arm up just a bit, but not too much because it will pop off at that designed section. Make sure that's done. All right. This will take a little bit of finessing and figuring out, because all these are kind of little bends in the right place, and you move this to that location just ever so slightly. This is a lot of do it by feel to get the peg from the underside of the truck bed into the hand of Cup. Now we're going to do it on the other side. And I found it's easier to do it this way because you can actually move things around and stretch the arm out. Oh, come on, don't be shy. Grab it, and don't you disconnect from your shoulder. Yeah, we don't need you falling apart on us, you old man. Now that's done. Once you have both hands in those ports at the bottom of the tailgates, go ahead and push both of the legs together, ensuring that you're feeling up and down the entire time to make sure you don't accidentally break something. Now, or make sure that you click everything in properly and you don't misalign any connections, I should say. Now there's some floppy bits on either side of the leg and you feel that there's this space. So what we're going to do with the floppy bit is we're going to fold it forwards, but before we fold it, and you will feel on the end of it is a quarter circle, and that's going to fit over to complete the rest of the wheel well for the front wheel. But to get it in there right, first bend it down, kiss the wheel with the end of it, and then while pushing, allow the tip to ride the wheel upwards, and it will come to rest under the lip of the wheel well for the front wheel. And once that is done, this thing will lightly pop into place. Now, this guy is really well engineered, so we're going to follow that trick with the other side. Going to bring up the little side vehicle assembly bit, the floppy long thing. We're going to put the quarter wheel well, kiss the wheel with the tip of it, and then push down with the back while riding the wheel upwards to ensure that the connection is made without any unnecessary stretching of plastic. And use your fingers to kind of clamp everything down. Let's focus on the flap at the top. If you look up, you can see his head. So we're just going to fold that down and it will clip into place. Now that that's all clipped into place, go through and tamp him down. And there you have a little bitty truck. Now his gun can fit on this little, there's a little port that's discovered on the side. That is a horizontal siege port. So only horizontal siege pegs or little rectangle siege pegs can fit into that type of port. Sad to say. In this vehicle mode, he has no siege ports except for those two tiny rectangle siege ports. Alright, where's my cliff jumper? Where you at, cliff jumper? Because it's time to measure. So we got cliff jumper here, and cliff jumper measures from tailgate to tailgate. The tip of cliff jumper's hood ends at the front wheel well of Cup. That's pretty cool. Now, let's get Cup size down. Put Cup down here, and we've got 15, 14. So Cup is 14, no wait, I didn't count the tip of his bumper, my bad, is 15 studs long in vehicle mode. It's pretty cool. Now, another neat feature about this Cup vehicle mode, let me see if I can find it, is I have the engine that came with my Jetfire. And I discovered this last night because there's this little port on the back of his truck mode. I was trying to figure out what to put into it. Even though it doesn't fit the port well, it fits the bed of his truck quite nicely. And now you can have him delivering an engine. And on that note, to anyone who asks the question, why does this truck not have a tailgate? My response is magnetic locking systems. If you're a giant transformer made of metal, chances are you're not using wooden crates to transport your goods. You're using metal boxes and metal crates, each of which if designed correctly, can magnetically lock to the truck bed, thus allowing for no tailgate to ever be used. And that means that loading and unloading of the vehicle can occur very quickly without the use of troublesome tailgate, which would also extend the length of the back of the truck. And if the truck is well designed, it doesn't ever need its bed extended. So there you have it. He doesn't need a tailgate because he's such an advanced truck that nothing will ever get out. Like, if he really magnetically locked everything down, then he could travel at 300 plus miles an hour and nothing would be disturbed. It would just continue to sit in the back of his cab. But yeah, that's driven me crazy for a while, hearing people always question, why doesn't he have a tailgate? Because he's got magnetic locks. Think sci-fi, people. Think sci-fi. This is sci-fi. But that's my rant for now. Anyway, if I were you, I'd pick up a Cup. He's got a fun transformation. It's slightly complicated. Definitely more complicated than Bumblebee or Grimlock. I'd say less complicated than Cyclonus, but a complicated guy that you will have fun transforming and discovering little added things you can just do with him. Like, I didn't even know he came with Energon goodies. I thought that was fun. For the overall feeling I have of this figure, I would have to say that my feelings towards this figure are the same feelings I have towards a cold beverage after I have been working in the yard all day long. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Blind Prime, and you have watched Blindformers on Studio Series Cup. I hope that you have enjoyed the show, and I really do hope that you will find us in the future, share our content, like us, and please subscribe. Don't forget also to comment on us. Please comment on the videos. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.